From the far reaches of space to the darkest places on Earth, join us as we explore the haunted, the cryptid, the creepy, and more. Exposing Reality Radio presents the Spectral WOLFPACK Show, your paranormal nightmare, with your host, Alexander Bobolinsky.
What is up, WOLFPACK? Welcome to episode 11 of the Spectral WOLFPACK Show. We've had a good run so far with some awesome guests, and we're gonna keep it rolling every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Central. So for everyone who follows us on YouTube and who's in the Patreon and everything, you guys all know that we officially moved into our final new house because we had all those mix-ups with the past landlords and things like that. And so we moved into our new house, and everything's going really well so far. It's a 116-year-old house, and we're still learning the history and everything. It was part of a coal mining community, and I believe one of the mining officers lived at that house or worked out of that house at one point. But I haven't had too many experiences there yet that I've really noticed. There was this thing happening with the door lock where when I would go outside it would be locked and I would lock myself out. But I figured out that was just something that I was doing and nothing paranormal. So far it's really awesome. We're just getting settled in, and yeah, it's going to be great. So tonight we're going to talk about some good stuff. We're going to talk about a future collaboration that I've got coming up, and also JP Doyal is going to tell us a little bit about a recent experience that he had. So for those of you who don't know, JP is from Just Paranormal, and he's from Texas, and I've got him here, I believe. JP,
what's going on?
What's up? I got a new phone, and I couldn't figure out how to pull the call back up, and I was like, oh shit. How are you doing tonight, man?
Man, I'm doing pretty good. Just getting off of work, but I've been really anxious to do this call. I'm pretty excited about the show.
Awesome, man. Yeah, I'm glad that you agreed to come on, because I was wanting something good for this week, and then I was like, oh yeah, JP had you had a pretty crazy recent experience, right?
Yeah, man, I would say life-changing. If any way I was going to describe it, that would be the way.
What's interesting about that is that I had one too. When me and Eric were at Thornhaven Manor, we had some pretty crazy stuff happen that definitely was something really powerful and something that can affect the way you your mood and just how you feel and your thoughts.
Right. Yeah.
And
yeah.
I mean, do you think that something like that, when you're on an investigation, what do you think that's? I mean, what do you think that is? Demonic or?
Well, let me start from the beginning, and I'll explain what happened to me in detail, and I want to hear how similar it was to your occurrence.
Definitely.
So we were filming the last episode for a TV show that I'm going to have airing, hopefully on international television sometime soon. And we were filming the last night, the last location. Literally, we were done with the show. And we were investigating with this team that came out because they did interviews with us. And, since they came and made some time to come do an interview for us, we offered them to be able to investigate with us before we started filming the TV show.
Yeah.
Well, we went to this room where supposedly this dark spirit stays that keeps this young spirit trapped there somehow. Supposedly that's the story behind it. He's really mean and has a lot of energy and stuff. So we went in there, and we were doing, the normal EVP session. Nobody was provoking. Nobody was doing anything crazy. It was just really, really simple EVP session. And then out of nowhere, I started kind of feeling sad. And then I noticed that, like, around me it's just darker. Like, it's getting darker and darker, like, while I'm watching it. And I'm like, what the fuck? This is weird.
Mm-hmm.
So Roman, my cameraman, and one of the ladies that we interviewed was sitting across from me. And I said, is it getting darker in here or something? And Roman and that lady both said, we both saw something around you, and we didn't want to say anything, but we see like a black haze of smoke or something around you.
Damn.
I was like, what the heck? So I started getting a little nervous, and then a few minutes went by probably or so, and I was telling them that I wasn't feeling too hot. And John, he's an investigator on my team, he says, well, let's get outside, man. Let's go take a break. And I'm like, oh, I don't want to. Like, I didn't want to leave the place. It was weird. Like, I didn't want to walk outside. And they're like, no, do you need to? And I'm like, no, I don't. Like, I was literally ready to fight somebody if they were going to try to grab me. Like, I was ready.
Yeah.
And then finally, I jumped up, and then I went straight into the closet where supposedly this little boy is being trapped by this evil spirit. And so I've already been out of the closet in my life. Now I'm going back in it. And so, anyways, I'm in the closet, and I'm doing a little quick EVP session, and I catch an EVP and I said something like, I can't remember what I said, but it said JP's mine. And whenever I called that EVP, everybody around me could hear it. And they were like, oh, okay, let's go. We need to go outside. So they finally got me to go outside. Well, we went out to, like, the little area where all of our equipment was, and the lights were on, and everybody was joking around, having a good time. And I was just sitting there, like, just angry. Like everybody was getting on my nerves. I was really paranoid. I felt like everybody was out to get me for some reason. And there was even one point where Karen, she's our researcher for my team, was like, hey, why don't you take a picture with the two girls, the ones that we interviewed? And I was like, why? Why do you want to take a picture of me? And I thought she was trying to, like, see if she could see something around me, like, in the picture or something. I thought she had, like, a different motive for just wanting. And she's like, no,
just
you're the star. But it's your show, so
just
basically they want a picture with you. Yeah, it was weird, but I had these weird, like, thoughts.
Yeah.
Well, finally when we went outside, when we got outside, I still felt the same, and I was having thoughts of, like, honestly, like, killing the people around me, like my team. Like, I thought about driving the van home, and on my way home wrecking the van to kill everybody in the van. I thought about beating Karen in the head with a flashlight. Like, very vivid, weird, dark thoughts. It was really strange. And the way that they kind of brought me back down from wherever I was at was they had me do some praying and commanding whatever it was to leave me alone. And I ate sage. I didn't even need to eat sage.
Yeah.
And eventually started feeling normal again. But yeah, it was definitely life changing, because I've been doing this for about 11 years, and that was the first time I've ever experienced something like that. And, I've taken it serious, obviously, because I've dedicated, like, literally my whole life to it.
Yeah.
But now I have a more serious take on it, in the sense of this isn't just, like, a fun hobby that we just go and do, and sometimes things happen and sometimes don't know. Like, this is literally like a spiritual alternate reality that I just can't see, that I ran into, and just like, holy shit, this is like this could be very dangerous very fast.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I think, some people might not understand that until they have an experience like that. And I feel like those kind of experiences can, like, make or break an investigator. Like, some people might just totally quit and be done with it. But then, like, other people, it might make them a stronger investigator, like kind of like what happened to you, because you're still back. I mean, you're back in it, right?
Yeah, and that's I'm glad you said that, because it's true. I was on the way home after that incident. I was like 100% sure I was done, that I was going to quit. I was already having thoughts of selling all my equipment, wondering how much money I can get for it. Like, I was already, like, on that side of it. And then literally the next morning I woke up already, like man, I want to go back in there and, like, see what that was. Like kind of challenge it in a sense, like, but, like, I knew that I couldn't. So I've been taking a break from it, and I went on my first investigation about 2 weekends ago, finally.
How did that go for you?
It was interesting. I was more timid. I was more anxious. I was more scared going in. Well, one thing that I noticed, and I told you about this in private, but I noticed that I can almost feel when something is around me now. Not like, I wouldn't say like I'm some psychic medium or anything like that, but I can definitely feel like the environment change, and I know when I have a good sense of when something's around or not. And I caught a lot of stuff in a very short amount of time period. Like,
yeah,
we were only there for like an hour and a half, and I caught EVPs, I caught doors shutting, I caught all kinds of shit for just being there for about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. So
I think like we were talking about in our group chat, we have like when you open yourself up to this stuff, it really does start. I think it starts happening more.
For sure.
I don't know what it's some crazy stuff, but I was going to tell you that my experience was similar to that too. Like how I started feeling like kind of like sad or like down, and started feeling the anger for just no reason, and like everyone in the live stream chat they were like, "What's wrong with Alex? What's wrong with Alex?" And Eric kept asking me like, "You okay, man? You okay, dog?" And like then I finally like I started actually having some like visual effects happening, and that's when I finally clicked with me. I was like, something's like going on here. Like, this is not normal. And so then I said, like, Eric, something's going on. And he put the SLS cam on me, and we caught that weird shit like on top of me, and then it like jumps out and it's on the ground, and then it stands up. And like, it was one of the weirdest SLS captures that I've seen. And and like it coincided with what was happening with me at that point in time. Like, it was pretty crazy. And when it jumped out, I actually felt it. Like, I felt better, and you can hear me in the video. Like, I'm like I already feel better, and like I come over to Eric and I'm like saying that I already feel better, and
it just had jumped out of you.
And then all night it kept jumping. We could feel it like jumping back and forth. Like, you would start feeling that. It's like a weird, like, to me it felt like some like extreme sadness. I mean, I guess sort of like depression, but a little bit different. With like that anger. And then when we at like 4 or 5 in the morning, we took a trip to the gas station to get some water, because we hadn't had any water like the whole night. And like on the ride over, it felt like we were on drugs. Like, I literally felt like I had like smoked a blunt and was like took some acid or something. It was weird.
Yeah, dude, that's how I felt too when I was explaining it to people. I was like, it literally felt like I was having like a really bad high from smoking.
Yeah, it was weird, man. And
yeah, that was like the only way I could describe it. I was just like out of it. It was so strange. Like, and it's weird that all the incidences that I've heard, they're all similar. Like, yours is a lot similar to what happened to me too. So it's really interesting how they're all almost the same. It makes you wonder what it is. What is the spirit actually doing? Because I don't think it was a possession. Like I know that it wasn't demonic. It didn't feel demonic. I still, to this day, will say I've never ran into anything that I would say was demonic. I could just tell it was like a very powerful spirit that was doing something to me. I don't know if it was, I don't like saying the word possession because I don't know how that works. I don't understand that. So I don't know if it's a possession or oppression or what's the right term for it, but
yeah, I would say an oppression, but the next step beyond that is possession, and the difference would be like possession would be when it takes full control of you, you know, but